Hey Waffle Gang, I do hope you are well. My name is Mark and today we're checking out some more Reddit stories, and if you do love a Reddit story, why not consider hitting that like, subscribe, maybe that notification bell too, and let's crack on with today's first story. Much love guys. Now today's first story comes from Propermarang4916 and it says, am I the arsehole here for telling my niece that the family does not like her fiance and I won't be at her wedding? So, for context, there is a 21-year age gap between myself and my eldest brother. This made it so me, 28 female, and his oldest daughter, 23 female, are very close in age, and have grown up very close. I am very much the favourite aunt, and I've always considered us friends, not just family. She comes to me when she has a problem she didn't want to talk to her parents about. She tells me about her boyfriend and friend problems. She would call me when she was in college and needed picking up from a party or bar. And I was the first person she told when her boyfriend proposed, calling me at 6 AM in the morning after because she was so excited to tell me. Some context on her fiance. They have been together for 3 years and he is 1 year younger than her. She just graduated college in May 2024 and he is on track to graduate in May of 2025. They have their wedding scheduled for just a week after his graduation. He is studying biochemical and microengineering and is very smart. More on the introverted side with a dry humor. Since she introduced him to the family, we could tell they are serious and try to be as welcoming as possible, inviting him to family events and on trips, getting him birthday and Christmas presents and genuinely trying to get to know him. Whenever he is around our family, he acts annoyed all the time, like it's painful to spend time with us. And he expects my niece to stay by his side the whole function, getting annoyed if any of the little cousins ask her to play, including my children. More context, my niece is my children's godmother, and expects her to leave at the same time as him, even though they drove separately. My eldest brother is constantly advocating for him, saying he's just introverted and the size of our family makes him uncomfortable, insisting that he's different when it's smaller groups or one-on-one. But I haven't seen it, even when it was just the two of them with myself and my husband. He talks to everyone like we are stupid and is extremely condescending. When they got engaged, things got worse. With how close we are, I was expecting to be asked to be part of the wedding party, but she did not ask me. I was a little hurt, but I chose to let it go because it's her special day and her choice. Then his family planned the engagement party and didn't invite any of my family. She explained that it was just a small affair, just their parents and siblings, but I later found out that she lied to me when I saw pictures on social media. I did confront her about that, but she said she didn't plan the guest list, so I tried to let that go too. Then she didn't invite myself or my mum to a dress outing, saying it was a limited number of people allowed and she wanted to make sure his mum and sisters could come with her. After that, I told her it really seemed like she was trading our family for his family. She said she wasn't, but when I asked him later how they planned to spend holidays, he said they'd spend them with his family. My last straw was over December and January. In December, she invited me and my husband for dinner. I was excited because she hadn't initiated us hanging out since her engagement. Dinner was a little awkward since conversation wasn't smooth with her fiance, but pleasant enough. When the check came, my husband took care of it, after it sat on the table for about 15 minutes and they didn't offer to split or pay, even though they invited us. Then when we were getting ready to go, they asked if we could have a serious conversation. I was confused as to why we didn't have it during the meal, but they proceeded to ask us for money to pay for their wedding. Said it was turning out to be more expensive than they thought and needed help since their parents don't make enough. I asked why they didn't wait until he was working and not just in an unpaid internship or until she got a full-time job instead of a part-time job. I said that I wasn't saying no, but that I just wanted to understand why they wanted to have their wedding so fast. The wedding is in about 8 months after their engagement. That conversation devolved into an argument about financial responsibility, where her fiance said if we can help, then we should because it's family. And then following up with us having plenty of time to resave, when my husband explained a lot of our money was invested for our children's future. After we offered $2,000 as a little something to help, my niece brought up my savings from my deceased husband's life insurance. I asked if she really thought bringing up my deceased husband was going to help her. We then repeated our offer of $2,000 and he asked if that was really all we'd give them, so we withdrew the offer. We left enraged. Then before Christmas, my mum invited them over to bake because the fiancé enjoys baking desserts and bread. He was so rude to her throughout that. She came over for some grandkid time and tea because she was so sad. My dad was pissed. And then neither my niece or fiancé came to Christmas. We had a family get together around New Year's, and when we were driving two of my brothers and their wives home, we had a conversation about how sick everyone was of the fiancé and how we wished they weren't getting married. Finally, in January, it was my parents' 50th wedding anniversary. I planned a party for them, and then we were going to Mexico, which was group financed by myself and my siblings for our parents. Fiancé was only coming to party as he couldn't miss school for Mexico. The party was fancy, RSVP invitations, private venue, catered, semi-formal dress code. A week before, my niece texted me and let me know fiancé wasn't going to come to the party because of a fraternity event. I told her that this was an important family event, and on top of that, it was rude to skip out on an event that you RSVP'd for without a good reason, and made it clear that I didn't consider his fraternity a good reason considering how long he's known about the event. She said she had talked to him, but I never heard back, so I was unsure if he was going to come. Day of, he showed up late, wearing a t-shirt, jeans, and a backward cap. My mum, still trying to be nice, said she was glad he was there, and he responded, like I had a choice. He then stayed in his seat, not speaking to the people at his table or participating in the activities. About halfway through, we were taking a family picture and invited him to be in it, and he said, "This isn't my family." My mum started crying and excused herself to the bathroom. I pulled him aside and snapped. I told him that if he didn't want to be in this family, then get the fuck out. That I was tired of dealing with his attitude and disrespect and pretending to like him, and told him to leave. When my niece went to follow him, I told her that if she went with him, that she could forget coming to Mexico with us. She didn't follow him, but she made it clear that she was upset that he'd been kicked out. The adults in the family, about 12 of us, sat down with her to air out our grievances about the fiancé with her so that she understood the extent of the problem. But she still defended him, said that we just didn't know him as well and that we made him uncomfortable. After that conversation, I told my husband that I just couldn't act like nothing was wrong anymore. So we declined on the RSVP to the wedding. She texted me asking why we said no, and I met her for coffee. I explained to her that I didn't feel that I could support her marriage, that he wasn't a good person, and I felt like her independence and everything that was special about her was disappearing behind his expectations. She disagreed and told me that I just didn't understand. She then told me that if I really cared about her, that I should just suck it up and come to her wedding. So, am I the arsehole here? Should we go to the wedding? And was I wrong for telling her in the first place? Opie then added a small update on the same post first, which was additional information. It said, my niece was raised in a Christian household, and she chose to maintain her faith while in college, when she did live independently, on scholarship and student-subsidized housing with one roommate away from parents for 4 years. And from what I understand, her fiancé is too. They don't live together and they don't do overnights by their choice. She has returned to living with her parents because she is broke and unmotivated, and he lives in a frat house. Her parents also expect her to follow their rules, including a curfew, while living at home in respect to the routine that's been established for a special needs sister. So while I agree with the assessment that he's setting her up to be isolated, they aren't currently in a situation or the privacy for financial or emotional abuse. I do think he's a narcissist. She agreed to sit down and talk with me again and was able to better articulate my concerns for her future and what she has setting herself up for, and my concerns about him. We are still not going to the wedding. I explained to her that part of it is because I love her, that ultimately it's supposed to be a special day for her, and that with the way I feel about him, that I would object to the union in front of everyone as opposed to privately. I told her that whatever she chooses, that I am always specifically in her corner, and that I hope that she will still want to spend time with me and my kids, but more than that, to know that she can come to me anytime for anything. And that for her sake, I do hope that I'm wrong about him. We did get her a few things off the registry that I knew were more for her than for him. She said she would think about everything, so we will see what happens between now and then. And to the people who said that they thought I didn't think it through on what this might mean for the future, I can assure you I did. My family means the world to me, and I don't want to hurt her or my relationship with her. But we got to the point where I couldn't stay quiet and pretend like there wasn't anything wrong. Thanks to everyone for the input. It really helped me organize my thoughts and think through everything that's happened. But don't 139 says not the arsehole, but I don't think you are seeing things clearly. The guy made her own grandma cry and she defends him. You all act as if he is the problem here, but she is choosing him. She is defending him. He is that way because she allows it to be. He made her grandma cry and she still said you were all in the wrong. She is not some silly child blinded by love. She sees what he does but still chooses him when he so blatantly disrespects all of you. She is the arsehole here. Well, the fiancé too, of course, but it wouldn't matter if she was not choosing him. Stop believing she is just some misguided child. She's an adult and making very clear choices. Winter Rest says not the arsehole. I like how when asking for money, y'all are all family. But when it's time to take a picture, y'all aren't family. Or let your niece know that while you don't support her marriage, you support her and will be there if she needs to leave. Dry Ask says not the arsehole. She is in an abusive relationship and it is escalating. He's absolutely trying to isolate her and control her. He definitely plans to cut her family out and only allows his family. Or just tell her that you can't support this abusive relationship and she is the one that isn't understanding. Tell her that you love her and you will help her get out when she realizes how abusive he is. Pixie Dragon says not the arsehole, but you need to let her know that if she desperately needs you, you will be there. His behavior is a huge red flag for an abusive relationship. Separating the partner from his or her family is the first step. Give her a special phrase that she can send you and let her know if she sends it, you'll be on your way. If she sends it with an exclamation point, you will also have the police respond. She needs to know that you are serious about this. Do not go to the wedding, but send a gift. Good luck, and I hope all goes well. And one more comment that says, ask her to do you a favor and read the book. Why Does He Do That by Lundy Bancroft. It's free online. It will help her understand your concerns. She's in an abusive relationship. Ask her to at least stay on top of her birth control and not get pregnant for at least a year or two if she's staying with him. He's not even trying to hide his horrible behavior. He's going to be so much worse. His family clearly doesn't care to get to know her family because they also help control and abuse her. Is he from a different culture? And I gotta say, I pretty much agree with some of those comments there as well about the isolation. You know, we've read a lot of these Reddit stories and we see it quite often about trying to isolate people from their family and friends and trying to use that person to get money from their family. And his attitude towards your family as well is super concerning. He's just blatant with it now, willing to bring up your deceased husband's life insurance money. It's madness. And of course, I don't blame you for declining to attend the wedding. I think that's the right choice. It's a wedding you don't support, so absolutely don't attend. But I also agree with some of the comments about keeping that door open. It's always said in stories like this that they can't see it at the moment, but hopefully one day when they recognize the situation that they're in, they're going to go for that door and you'll be there for them. But OP did update the post and says, so I honestly wasn't sure if I was going to have anything else to update after my husband and I decided not to go to the wedding, and figured if I did have more to update, it wouldn't be until after the wedding. But holy hell was I wrong. I figured I'd share since so many people were invested and gave great advice when I needed it before. So first off, my daughter and I ended up going to the bridal shower at the end of April. My niece asked me repeatedly to come and I figured that things would be relatively drama-free since the fiancé doesn't get to come to that. I asked in advance if she was sure she wanted my daughter to come since she is under 10. I was assured that there would be other children there and that my niece really wanted her goddaughter there. Skip to the day of and my daughter was the only child. One of my sister-in-laws even told me that she was told not to bring her 3 daughters, one older and 2 younger than my daughter. The maternal aunt kept scolding my daughter for touching things, even though I was keeping an eye on her, and she did no such thing. The mother of the groom asked if I was purposely trying to ruin the event, and the groom's sister said it was rude of me to bring her. I was ready to just walk out, but the bride's 19-year-old sister took my daughter to play in her room upstairs. My other niece that took her upstairs has special needs and had said that she was feeling overstimulated. But the bride was still upset that she didn't stay downstairs for the whole event. The bride never even said hi to my daughter, making her feel very sad when we went home. We played those "How well do you know the bride" games, which I won, prompting my niece to say that I was basically her best friend, causing an awkward silence as the room became confused as to why I wasn't in her wedding party. Extra special surprise for me when I found out that all the groom's sisters are in her bridal party, but her best friend and her own sister are not. About a week later, we got together to celebrate my dad's birthday. When my mum invited them, the fiancé responded, "If I don't have anything better to do, then I might come." My mum didn't hear anything else, so assumed he wasn't coming. And when he showed up, she had to set a place for him, prompting him to play victim, saying we don't want him around. He then had to be asked to put his phone away at the table while we were all eating, and no one else had their phones with them. The final straw for my parents was twofold. They asked about the rehearsal dinner because you'd think the grandparents of the bride would be invited. They were told it was a wedding party only, which basically includes the groom's whole family. I later found out through other people that the groom's grandparents were going to the rehearsal dinner because they came from out of state and wanted as much time with the grandkids as they could get. I kept that tidbit to myself because I didn't want my parents to be more hurt than they were already feeling. Then they had the audacity to ask my parents to hang out with the bride's sister since she doesn't do well staying at home alone, and they would all be busy at the dinner. The second thing was that the bride asked my mum what she'd be wearing to the wedding, specifically asking if she was going to be buying a new dress. My mum said that she wasn't buying something new because she already had a nice dress. My niece responded that my mum dresses old-fashioned and frumpy and that she didn't think anything she already had would be appropriate for the wedding. My mum is very stylish for her age, mid-70s, and the dress she had picked out was gorgeous. My mum told her that she was being rude and that she would give her the benefit of the doubt because planning her wedding was stressful, and sent her a picture of the dress. She then told my niece that she had gotten it for her best friend's daughter's wedding and had only ever worn it that once, so my niece hadn't seen it before. My niece responded, "I guess it's okay." My mum felt very defeated, and my dad had had enough. He responded on behalf with, "From our various interactions, it does not seem that you want us to be participants in your special day. Your grandmother and I will no longer be attending your wedding." They returned their wedding gifts. My husband and I decided to do the same. Now, from my side of the family, the only ones that are going are 2 of my 5 siblings. One because it's his daughter, and one because his wife is playing the guitar during the ceremony, and he did not want her going alone. She does piano or acoustic guitar accompanied for special events professionally, and she had committed before the bulk of the drama happened, and did not want to harm her professional reputation by backing out last minute. That brother has let everyone know that they will not be staying past the ceremony, that his kids are hanging out with Grammy and Grams, and that he will be going full petty by wearing jeans, t-shirt, and a hat, just like the fiancé did to our parents' 50th anniversary celebration. That's all I got for now, and I don't know what else could happen at this point, but I'll keep you updated. Wedding is 1 week away. Hope he had some additional information and says, so to address a few things I've noticed popping up. The reason the fiancé was invited to family dinner was my mum. We, her children, have asked her to stop inviting him to things because he always inevitably ruins the atmosphere. But she's part of the generation where family always gets another chance, and you do everything to keep the peace. Oh no, not the peace. We are slowly but surely helping her to establish and keep healthy boundaries, but she was also holding on to the hope that she would be gaining a grandson and not losing a granddaughter. My niece is absolutely contributing to the problem. She did not used to be this way. As I've said before, we were good friends. She's the godmother to my kids and was in both my weddings. I noticed her becoming more self-centered as she gained independence in college. I hope it would get better, but it's gotten worse, contributed to by the dipshit in his family. I'm trying to find the balance and letting her know that I love her and that if she's in trouble or needs help, that we are here. But that her current attitude and actions are unacceptable and unsupported. Sometimes she does acknowledge that he's rude, but also has an excuse lined up like school stress, internship, workload, bad day sort of stuff. Always comes back to he's a good guy and we just don't know him well enough. I think my brother is in denial and doesn't want to admit that his daughter is getting into a bad thing. He's full of excuses too, i.e. introverted, not comfortable with large groups, stressed, tired, smart to the detriment of social skills. We've heard it all. Kind of hard to ignore when your whole family decides not to show up to the wedding though. So maybe it'll kick some sense into him. He was very angry when I sent him screenshots of the text between his daughter and our mum though. So I'll give him props for that one. Commodore says that this is the consequences of sheltering young people and not letting them have normal romantic interactions, to which OP's reply was, I totally agree in certain upbringings, but I'm not totally sure it applies here. While my family is religious, it's not in the controlling way. We've all been encouraged to free thinking, and she's seen examples from some of us choosing to make our own way and choosing to experience love and relationships in the way we wanted to. And our family doesn't judge us for those choices. Plus, she's grown up with me and I'm pretty much as vocal as it gets about the benefits of exploration and intimacy. She chose to maintain her faith while living independently during college, and from what I understand, so did he. She got to live independently during college thanks to scholarships. She's back at her parents' house because she's broke and unmotivated, and their rules are more there because they need to maintain schedule and boundaries for the sake of their younger daughter's special needs. Commoner said to OP in less than 5 years she's going to be an abused housewife needing escape. OP responded saying, if she's abused, I hope she does come to us for help, and I don't consider that entitlement. Through all of this, we've done our best to make it clear that while we don't support her current actions and attitude, that we are here to help her if she's in trouble. There will be no I told you so, it will simply be you've been hurt, but you are safe here. And there was a lot of back and forth in the comments, a lot of people turning on the knee saying, she's the issue in this situation. Other people saying she's already a part of an abusive relationship and at some point she will need that help. And there's a lot of people just waiting for the wedding to happen and then sees what happens next. But now I'm going to turn this one to you guys. What do you guys make of this situation? How do you think it's going to go? Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. But before you do go, I just spotted this today I fucked up post and I just wanted to share it with you. It's just a short one. Stay with me a moment, will you? It's from ZackAttack86. It says, today I fucked up and tits. 14 years too late to fix. Most of us have a name for our spouse or significant other. Playing with Siri one day, I changed my wife's name on my phone to Tits McGee and never bothered to change it back. Obviously, when you change the name of someone on your phone, that name is associated with all the contact information for that person. So even though my wife's name isn't a part of her email address, every time I'd email her, the name shown would be Tits McGee. For 14 years, I thought I was the only one that saw that. However, every email I've sent that had my wife copied on, the recipients saw Tits McGee. Every fucking email, including our daycare center. I'd like to thank the wonderful team at Chuck E. Cheese Event Planning for pointing this information out to me in an extremely professional manner. And OP did actually include a screenshot of the email from Chuck E. Cheese with Tits McGee at the bottom. A decade-long fuck-up. But what do you guys make of this situation? Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. Now, just a huge thank you for being here today, getting involved in the stories, your love, your support, your time. It always means the absolute world to me. So thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care, and much love.
Yeah, man, I remember being so naive when life was good, weather and palm trees. Back in the day, you were everything I need. But then along came a time when you crushed my dreams. Oh yeah, you played me like a fool when you made me believe that the line between love wasn't thick enough to read. Oh yeah, you see we in despair, crime every